it's Christy from Mama Bear's Prep again, and today what I wanted to just take a couple minutes to talk to you about is freezer meals and why freezer meals are important to have, to be prepared, and to be kind of a key to being a prepared mama. So just recently I had COVID-19, coronavirus, and it was hard. It was a lot more rough than I thought it was going to be. I did everything I possibly could preventative to try not to get COVID. And then when it came down to it, I still had this overwhelming urge in my mind and that I just couldn't shake, that, you know what, it's not really a matter of if I get COVID, it's a matter of when. And so I went through steps. I went and purchased a bunch of supplements that I had on hand because I just kept thinking, you know what, it's gonna happen to me. It's just gonna happen. And it happened. And one of the things that I had done in preparation, besides, having the supplements and having all that stuff ready and handy, was that I had food prepared in my freezer. I had freezer meals, so that if something happened, all we had to do was pull it out of the freezer. All we had to do was pull it out of the freezer, and we could put it in the crock pot or the Instant Pot, and then bam, dinner would be done. It was easy enough that my husband, who really doesn't lift a finger in the kitchen, he was able to make dinner on those nights that I was just way too sick to make dinner. So I don't have a program for freezer meals. There's a lot of them out on the internet, and I personally have joined many of them, and there's a lot of really great ones out there. And even if you don't want to pay to buy a program, you can just go on Pinterest and find tons of freezer meal recipes. And so I'd recommend, go ahead and try some out. Put some in your freezer, and then it works really great on those busy nights too, when you're like, oh, I don't have time to figure out for dinner, or even worse, if you're in between paychecks and you don't know if you have money to pay for, the food that you need. If you have something as a backup plan, then that's great. Anyway, so that's kind of my plug for freezer meals, and just telling you that I absolutely recommend that you have freezer meals, because you never know when something's going to happen that's going to require you to not really have to think about your dinner, but to just have something that's a backup plan, and you can pull it out and just get it cooked. Another instance, so I got COVID, and I was really out for about 3 weeks. And then my father-in-law ended up in the hospital. He had some internal bleeding going on, and it was horrible, and I hadn't fully gotten my energy back and everything. I was probably about 75% of what I normally am, and I didn't have any COVID symptoms still other than just the tiredness, and I ended up having to spend quite a few days at the hospital with my father-in-law, and I was so glad that I didn't have to worry about what my kids were going to eat, because I had those freezer meals, and it happened right after each other. So I had COVID 3 weeks, and 2 of those weeks I was pretty sick. And then father-in-law got sick, and it was a couple weeks after that too. And so I'm just so grateful that I had freezer meals in my fridge, so that when we needed them, they were there, and we were prepared, and we didn't have to worry about going and grabbing something to eat, going and getting fast food, or anything like that. We were prepared, and it was such a blessing in my life. So anyways, that's another plug for freezer meals, and just the food prep in general. If you're prepared, you are gonna be so much better off than when you're not prepared. Like I said, I guarantee there's gonna be a day in your life where you're not gonna feel like making dinner, whether you're sick, or whether somebody you love is at the hospital, or whether your kid breaks their arm, or whatever the circumstance is. Maybe it's a financial issue that, I don't have enough money to go grocery shopping. If you have those freezer meals in your fridge, you can just pull them out, and dinner's ready, and it's not a big deal. And you know that the ingredients in those freezer meals, you put them in there, so you know that they're a lot better option. So anyway, again, that's my plug for freezer meals and being prepared with those. So I will talk to you guys on the next video. Talk to you later. Bye.